Our Lord is testing us.
And it seems to have started when Win McCormick came to town.
My name is Ren McCormick, and I want to move on behalf of most of the senior class of Beaumont High that the law against public dancing within the town limits of Beaumont be abolished.
Oh, everybody cut Footloose, because they've gone and remade the thing. The 80s classic about a small town where rock and all that terrible dancing has been banned has been tweaked now for this decade. And right now I'm honored to be joined by two of the stars of the new Footloose and the film's director, so we can ask them some questions about the making of this. So we have Julianne Hough, Kenny Wormald, and Craig Bruner. So thank you all for being here. Craig, this is a chunk to chew here.
Yeah.
The first question I think most of our staff had was, hey, why remake the classic?
Why remake the classic? Well, it's pretty daunting, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I turned it down twice. I kind of agreed with everybody that I didn't think that it was really something that could be remade. But I suddenly realized that there's something that's distinctly American about overreacting. And I think that it's also distinctly American to overreact for the right reasons. And I think what a lot of people forget about the original Footloose is that it was really about, you know, a town that was, you know, dealing with a tragic event, you know, that 5 teenagers were killed in this car accident. And that's not just unique for the 80s. That's something that happens, unfortunately, every year. And so and I'm a parent now. That's the difference between me when I was 13, when I saw it in the theater back in 1984. You know, I'm a dad now, so I can see myself lining up behind a town, you know, enacting laws to keep kids safe. And I really felt that there was a way to tell the movie today that could be relevant and exciting.
So there they are showing right now the original with Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
And I did see it yesterday in a screening, and I thought that it must have been very difficult for you to choose, I'm going to keep this from the classic, and I'm going to add and tweak this line to make it a little contemporary. Were you aware of what was old and what was new in the lines?
Yeah, absolutely. I was a huge fan of the original Footloose. I grew up dancing, so it was definitely one of those movies that you just watch over and over again. So, yeah, I think he did a great job kind of mixing the equation of old and new, and we totally knew, you know, what those things were, so it was a blast.
So you said you grew up watching that movie. Had you seen the movie before you actually played the part?
Absolutely. Like he said, you know, this was a cult classic for me because I grew up in Utah where the first one was filmed. So if you hadn't seen it, something was wrong with you. But honestly, yeah, I loved it so much. But I didn't want to watch it right before. I think both of us didn't want to watch it right before we started shooting the movie. We knew it so well already that when we started shooting, we really wanted to make it our own movie and our own characters. And with Craig, we already knew we were going to be taken so much care of because it's so much like the original. Like, we weren't going to veer too far away from it. So we got to really just explore us and the characters on our own, really. So.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that it is contemporized for our audience today. For one, I noticed that there was diversity in the class. There was no diversity in the class in the 80s.
There wasn't a face of color, really, in the first movie at all. And
the music choices was diverse, too, I thought.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people forget about the original is that the music was actually diverse back then, too, you know. But today, I think that, you know, teenagers today are a great generation for music because they're not so segregated musically. You know, back in the day, I had a tape. It fit into my Walkman. That was my song, or that was my group. Today, kids have, like, iPods with 3,000 songs.
Okay, Kenny and Julian, I'm supposing that you guys did your own dancing since you're both professional dancers.
That's correct. We did, yeah. We had a great choreographer in Jamal Sims, and between Craig and Jamal deciding what to do, I think we were ready to handle whatever they threw at us.
It was fun. We got to kind of like, for me, I got to tone it down a little bit because I wanted to act like I was 17 years old and not a professional dancer. So it was fun. I toned down the choreography a little bit.
Okay, so here's your chance right now to sell it to the audience. Why should they go see this October 14th? You're getting promoted pretty early here.
Yeah.
Why should they go see that? Julianne?
There's so much heart to this movie and so much, Craig always says that when he went and saw the movie in 1984, he left with such like a feeling of inspiration and just happiness and joy. And there's something about, you know, what we did that balances that. We have the same feel as it did in 1984. And, you know, parents that watched it when they were 13 years old back then are taking their kids and they're watching their kids' face light up the way that they felt when they were 13. So
Kenny, sell it, baby.
yeah.
She says it great. I think if you're a skeptic at all, skeptical of the original, why did we make a remake? Just go see it, because we did it in a very respectful way, and I think we did it right.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. It was just enough of the old time stuff and just enough of the new stuff to be gripping still. So good job.
Thank you. Very much.
It is nice to talk to all three of you. Best of luck.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so much.
All right. And we'll be right back after we cut loose.